Hey everyone, Social Solipsist here for another episode of 52 and 52, and today I'm going to be looking at Dark Devotion, or at least a demo of it. I'm going to make a quick cut here, but I wanted to make sure that everybody could see this disclaimer that launches right when you first launch the game, and I didn't want to lose it and not be able to, show it to you if it didn't show up again. So I'll be back like that. Okay, I'm just gonna have to roll with this and hope that the audio levels are right. Because it just starts.
This is how it has always been. Devoid of morality.
If it wasn't already apparent, one of the first things that drew me to this game was the art style. I think it is fantastic.
Devotion is taught through suffering.
Actually, now that I say that, some of this looks a little rougher than the actual in-game footage they've shown. Still good, though.
Are the foundations of our society. And those tempted to resist it will pay the heaviest price.
Well.
In that den of iniquity, all of them will congregate. Holding on to their hope and their faith. Drawn to the divine light like moths.
That's a good shot right there.
Sinners will relentlessly advance.
That's also a really good shot.
And all shall meet the same end. All of us.
Okay. Well, it's certainly a start. So this is Dark Devotion. It's made its rounds on various forums and whatnot, and piqued my interest basically just because of a few images and GIFs that have been circulated. Looks really nice. Looks like it ought to play really well. Let's hope that's the case. Hey guys, so, funny story, this never happens to me. I started to play this game, and then something happened, I don't know what, and the game locked itself. As in, the game was still playing, but no matter what keys I pressed, it would not, none of them registered. Everything would, there would be a sound effect in the game that was a clicking noise for every single key I pressed, no matter what it was. That's even like system keys, like the Windows key and, the lock keys and those sorts of things. And I could not escape. Control-Delete didn't work, the various combinations that you would use to escape, all that for nothing. Nothing at all. So I had to force kill my entire computer. Use the hard reset button on my tower to get it to stop, because I didn't know what else to do. Unfortunately, that means I lost about 15 minutes of footage, because OBS, when recording to MP4, which I should stop doing probably, if it doesn't properly close the file, it just provides you with a corrupted file. there's a I'm gonna look and see if there's a way for me to recover it, but I don't think there is. So anyway, yeah, if there's more footage after this, please understand the context for it. Okay, with that all in mind, I will try and go into this with an open mind again, and not be too salty when repeating some of my same thoughts. I'm pretty pissed that, like, my off-the-cuff things are not gonna be off-the-cuff anymore, but that's neither here nor there at this point. I will learn from my mistakes. Anyway. Okay. That's interesting, because that's an effect that I picked up during my previous run. Anyway, this is the beginning of the game again, so neither here nor there. I commented before on how this is very unintuitive, because you left-click to use the right hand and right-click to use the left hand, and it refers to handedness rather than sword and shield. Obviously, that's a little different once you switch to your bow and arrow, but yeah, I digress. I also mentioned how it's kind of interesting stylistically that the characters are very much in a hard pixel art style, whereas some of the backgrounds and things are a little bit more mixed, almost mixed media, in terms of the level of shading. Like, this is like, the characters are basically hard one-color shading for most of them, whereas the backgrounds have a variety of shades and some softer edges and that sort of thing. There's also a lot of differences in the smoothness of animations. That's purely from a stylistic perspective of, like, the swipes are very quick in terms of the number of frames of animation it takes from beginning to end of the swipe, whereas you have other things like the fire that is fairly high, high frame rate, so to speak. I also turned on this timer. I think that's my total. I don't think. No, maybe that is my total game time. I'm not sure. I did spend a lot of time just talking about the game before, and that footage that I lost. It burns. It burns real bad. The footage, that is. The lost footage. I also mentioned I'm not real fond of these instructions. One, because you have to stand still to see them. Two, because it's easy to chop parts off of them. And three, because they're very generic looking. They don't really match the setting. It'd be one thing if they were floating on screen and looked like this, because then at least you have the sense that they are not a part of the world. As it is like this, it's almost like they're part of the scenery, and it's kind of jarringly inconsistent. I will mention when we hit the point where I failed before, or where my system failed me. This platform has some weird collision. It didn't show up this time, but maybe I can replicate it. If you jump off a little too early or something like that. Of course it's not going to replicate now. Why would it replicate now? generally speaking, this feels a lot like Dark Souls in terms of its style. You know, both in terms of its combat style with the rolling and a lack of jump, but also in its mood, I would say, in a lot of ways. You don't really know a whole lot about why you're here or who you are, or, you know, what your mission is. Okay. I have made a lot better time this time since I actually know what I'm doing. I will read this again and make the same comments about its poor formatting. From an old warrior. Read this carefully, intruder. I feel like these creatures are controlled, spelled incorrectly, in some way. Take the time to look at them and you'll see. Every move, poorly formatted comma, every thought are predictable. Is predictable, and that's not how you spell predictable. Indeed, these fleshless monsters are not thinking persons. Should be a period there, and an uppercase H. However, one thing has been implanted in... Is implanted? Yeah, implanted's fine. In what's left of their brain. Stopping you, intruder. Shouldn't be an uppercase S. You do not put another capital after a colon. It's not a new sentence. Take care. So, let me repeat my same tirade that I did before. If the intent here was to write a poorly written letter by somebody who's partially illiterate or who has like verbal inconsistencies, this is not how to do it. When people have verbal tics or you know, a non-primary language or are uneducated or something like that, the way to write those things is not like this. This reads like somebody who didn't proofread properly, which I'm assuming is the case, but I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt here that they can be wrong one of two ways. Take their pick. If you want to write somebody who doesn't have a good grasp of language or that sort of thing, that's generally in writing articulated fairly consistently. There's a surprising amount of consistency to people's weird verbal choices, or writing choices in this case, usually related to... I mean, obviously there are always reasons why people have failings in their language, whether it's something that doesn't translate well from their native tongue, or you know, they weren't educated in a certain thing, or don't have a full grasp of grammar. So, I digress. This is not how to do that. I don't think that was their intention either, but... Oh, Boney's cloak is actually... It's actually good this time. Different stats rolled on that item this time around. There's definitely some iframes there. I hadn't noticed that last time because I wasn't as close to getting hit. I also hadn't rolled past anyone yet, so that's interesting. That seems to work pretty nicely. I did note that it takes a really long time to do this bend down, and I'm not sure I'm in love with the idea of having to bend down all the time to, you know, examine every item. Obviously, there's some consistency in terms of, like, setting the tone and making it like a more plodding, deliberate, you know, every action is deliberate type of thing. Alright. So, who's this guy? I was not prepared. That's all he says. And then there's this. I lingered a little too long in that last time. Okay, it actually didn't hit me. Oh, no, it did. Alright. Same thing. So this is interesting. Oh, side note also, I haven't mentioned it this time around. It's weird that I have a cursor at all, let alone two. And it took me a little while to notice that I can use the cursor to pan to the left and right. I'm not entirely sure why they've made that choice. It seems like it could be useful, but it's only left and right, not up and down. It's also not a very precise way of giving you better vision control. I would probably have done that with the arrow keys, since they're not being used for anything else, but that's neither here nor there. But there's also this, which is that diseases and things like that are based on your number of steps, not on time, which is really interesting under the circumstances. This is clearly not a turn-based game, and that's typically the kind of thing that's, well, not for action platformers. So here's the part. This is not where it stalled before, but it might again. So I prayed. Oh. Okay. So that's where part of where I screwed up before. I didn't pray in full to this. Because it doesn't say hold shift. That's another thing, is that little icon pops up. It's very small. It's not 100% clear what key it is. Especially if you have a newer keyboard. I have a very old Gateway PS2 keyboard. It's a nice keyboard. Well, nice-ish. But it's old. It's probably 20 years old. So it's got some of the, like, more old school features that you don't see on keyboards anymore, like a shift button with a fucking arrow on it. Or uppercase letters, which seems to be a thing that I'm gonna get on a tangent I don't want to get on, sorry. I could talk about that all day. Okay. Here's why I fucked up before. I'm going to stop the recording and start it again so that if I have to manually kill my computer, that I'm not totally screwed. I prayed at this door, and then a monster came through and I fought it just with the mouse, and everything broke. Alright. And I'll be right back. Okay, let's see if this bitch breaks again. Alright. Let's... Oh. Okay there. It was just finicky about the location. Okay. Nope, I have control. I don't know what the fuck happened and why I lost. It was super weird. I don't know if it was a weird Windows thing. It's... You know what? I'm gonna give the game the benefit of the doubt and not blame the game. And just say that Windows... I thought it might have been sticky keys, even though I've disabled sticky keys very explicitly. And given the fact that there was a sound effect attached to every single keystroke I was making, that's what I'm gonna chalk it up to. But man, it was fucked and very frustrating. Okay, now we're on to new things for me. Did you see the dust move when the door opened? That was great. Even if it's a little inconsistent, I really like the visual style. There was clearly a lot of work and a lot of passion put in here. Now this is interesting because it's really the first time we're kind of going left. Oh, so I can have a torch instead of a shield. Okay, I don't know what that is. I also don't think I want this torch. I may have made a mistake. In fact, I'm pretty sure I definitely made a mistake. Oh no, that's a lot of falling that I just did. Oh wow. Okay. Hello. Oh wow. Okay, he turned around quickly. Your devotion has faded. Interesting font there. I like that. I wonder if it's theirs. Oh, alright. Checkpoint. I still don't think I want that. It does look like I lost my consumables when I died. Do I do a hard roll? Okay, if I roll off the edge, I come out of the roll animation when I go off the edge of it. That is interesting. Did I take damage from that? Why did I miss? This is also really picky about kneeling. And you can't do anything while kneeling. Anything I do does nothing. So, and it's picky about the location where you kneel. So. I'm surprised that didn't hit me. Well. Oh, I can't switch direction. Wow. Alright. Let's give this guy another go. That's punishing. I am kind of pleased to see that this is not totally a roguelike. And it looks like I'm taking stamina damage when I fall. So maybe if my stamina's depleted, I take actual damage. Okay, maybe I should actually use my goddamn shield. Oh, come on. Oh, wow. That's... Yeah, that blessing was really not convenient, guy. It was in fact, it was a distraction. Sometimes things break with, like a white effect and a positive noise, and other times they... Oh. Apparently falling breaks stuff. That's new to me. Okay, wow. I mean, I don't really want to keep hammering myself against this guy. Well, you all watch. Because I'll probably embarrass myself for the next half an hour. Maybe I'll do a speed-up video, depending on how long this goes on. Oh. This relic confines a power that can wreck as easily both flesh and weakened stone walls. It's a pretty weird phrasing on that. Okay, well. I got another one. Weird. I'm actually just gonna dodge him a little bit. He's got some interesting moves. So he will swing to both sides if he detects you move. Okay, I still took damage even though I was... And I can't... No, I can block and turn my block, but it's not... It's not immediate, or it, like, requires a double tap. Yeah, I really wish I didn't have to... I get it for the armor, but for the items, I shouldn't need to bend every time. Okay, I think I just don't have a good handle on the combat. This seems to be very dash-oriented. Like, very... Oh my god. Because I can't take any hits. Well, I guess I can take 3. That's probably what those pips are. It's only just occurred to me now that that's probably what those pips are. That would also explain why I don't seem to take damage from falling. God, this is irritating, though, having to pick this shit up. Okay. Definitely seems to be roll-oriented, so... I do feel like his hitbox is somewhat inconsistent. Like, he's got more reach than his sword would suggest. Huh, okay. I'll take it. Green-coated needles. That green mixture reminds you of these potions the Templars gave you to keep you awakened. I actually don't know where... I don't know where this game is from. Don't think... It must not be an English-speaking country. Which is interesting, because I haven't been, like, browsing explicitly international well, I mean, obviously it's the internet, anyone can go to any forum, but I'm not, like, reading French forums or German forums or anything like that. Okay, so this is a different style. I sort of like this more severe geometric feel. What is this? Why is that F? Kneel before the divine light. Should I? Let's talk to some people first. Guided like moths into the deeps. I think you mean depths, but I appreciate the sentiment. Walk into the center. What, here? Yeah. Oh, this was a dude. Okay. These are both dudes. How did I see these two and not realize what I was looking at on these? That's embarrassing. Answer to its call. I don't know if those are altars I can kneel in front of as well. Who are you? You look important. Hello there, new one. Welcome to the Filth Blood Shelter, the only warm place left in the temple. The Inquisition gets rid of anything they're afraid of, or do not understand. And the outside sometimes rejects someone like you in the temple. Your heart glows with pureness. Once in a while, a light comes out of the darkness. These guys really... or these people, guys or girls, or both, really need some proofreading, amongst other things. I left to search for knowledge. If I do not come back, that's because I'm either lost or gutted. And a blacksmith. Yeah, this feels very... A new reject from the outside. Welcome, young woman. Let me introduce myself. I'm Bones, the old smith of the temple. That fades out way too quickly. Like, I read... Well, if I wasn't reading out loud, I'd read quicker, but I'm still reading pretty quickly, and that's fading out while I'm, like, reading the last quarter of it. I do not even remember for how long I have been here, to be honest. Sooner or later, you will forget as well. Indeed, time is not perceived the same way on the inside. You'll get used to it. It's also somewhat hard to read the text, depending on the background. Anyway, if you need anything, I'll try to be of some assistance. Sigh. So yeah, obviously lots of inspiration from Dark Souls going on here in a lot of ways. I will not begrudge it that. So, what do we have here? Another one has been sent to feed the temple. Am I right? I don't care why you are here, but welcome to your new life. Kill at least one of them before you die, woman. Alright, that's all you got? I've heard a lot of stories about the temple during my childhood. If only I knew they were real, I wouldn't have killed this son of a dog. I am having a little bit of trouble, isolating, or, you know, being able to identify characters against the background. I mean, I mentioned before that the backgrounds are a little bit different in terms of artistic style. But aside from actual, like, explicit animations or clear shapes, like, I walked past this guy going to this guy, and it was, I got over here and realized, oh, that was a guy too. So, I don't know, I mean, I think it would look pretty nasty if they tried to, like, add outlines or anything like that. I'm not sure what else they could do, aside from, I don't know, maybe put a tint or some such thing. I don't know. I'm not sure what they could do. Yeah. It's really hard to see if there are ellipses there. Oops. Spencer! Spencer, you're messaging me in the middle of my recording and I can't dismiss it. That's what I get for installing fucking... Fuck off, Hangouts. That's what I get for installing the desktop app. Alright. Let's poke around a little more. I wanted to go down, not kneel. Some of these animations look great. This, like, just some, well, maybe that's the problem, is it looks a little better in screenshots than in, you know, not everything looks consistently excellent. And that sounds harsher than I mean it, actually. Oh. Way to pay attention. Alright, let's see what's through here. Alright. Oh. Well. That'll show me. Oh, that'll also show me. You know what? That's a pretty solid note to go out on. Oh, interesting. Alright, so I get a proper resurrection. Anyway. And now now I don't have my equipment. That's interesting. I guess the other times were just letting me... I don't like that. That tutorial section, I guess, was not taking my stuff away from me because it was a tutorial, but it doesn't make that explicit. So now, all of a sudden, I'm surprised that my stuff's gone. Maybe they expected you not to die during that first section, but, well. I also saw there's an arrow there, which I assume is pointing at my stuff, but it's just kind of hovering onto the timer. I could turn off the timer. I had it off. It's off by default. I turned it on. Because I was curious what it was. But that's weird. There's a lot of little things that are not quite right. Things that are... Obviously, it needs a lot of proofing. There's some odd choices that I'm not entirely sure about. Things like this little arrow, and... I mean, obviously, I've mentioned a lot of them. I think there's a lot good going on here. With a few little tweaks and a lot of, polish, I think this could be really good. It's got enough weird little things that I'd be worried about a few of them carrying over as intentional stylistic choices and not liking it as a result, but that's... Well, I guess we'll find out. It's due for release in August of 2018, I think is the current release date stated on Steam. If you want to check this out as well, the demo is available on Steam for you to try out. I might play a little bit more of this. I'm curious how far the demo actually goes. They might be operating the demo as like a free beta or alpha test or beta test. Other than anything else, I didn't read up their entire page and find out exactly what was going on, but anyway, yeah. Interesting little thing, and I'm glad I did check it out. I'm not typically one to do demos or even early access, so yeah, interesting enough. Anyway, I've been the Social Solipsist. Thank you guys all for watching yet another episode of 52 and 52. My apologies for the technical snafu. Maybe I'll get better at... I like to think I'm pretty good with OBS, but it's just never bitten me this way before. So I'll do better next time. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Good night.